Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing my product review for the Ninja Thirsti carbonated drink travel cup. This thing is a little bit like Ninja Sip Perfection cups that they made for hot beverages, except obviously this one's for cold beverages. Does it hold up to its claims? Watch this video and find out. So you ready? Let's get into this. Just a quick note, my reviews are based upon the things that I think are important. That might be a little bit different for you, so what I recommend doing is after watching my video, you watch a couple of other videos made by different content creators. That way you get a wider range of likes and dislikes and testing criteria. That in turn should help you make a more informed buying decision, and that is the most important thing of all. Okay, this is the Ninja Thirsti cold beverage container. This travel thermos is 24 ounces, but they do make a 16-ounce version of this as well. This is specifically designed for carbonated drinks. We'll get into that a little bit more in just a second. Ninja claims that this will keep your drinks colder and fizzier for longer, so we're gonna have to see about that and why that is. In addition to that though, they're also telling us that it's perfect for hot drinks as well. Looking at the side of the label, this is dishwasher safe, BPA free, it's made of 18/8 stainless steel, and it's a standard size that'll fit in most cup holders in cars. Okay, Ninja's got some trademarked stuff again. Sometimes I think they're just making up names and they don't really do anything other than what these cups already do and already have done for years and years and years, but that remains to be seen. Well, they've got bubble lock technology, and Ninja's saying that the interior is polished and ultra smooth to ensure fizzier drinks for longer. I'm gonna make the assumption that that means it's harder for bubbles to stick to the walls of this thing, but if it's sealed properly, I don't see how that's really a problem anyway. It's got triple thermo trademark technology, so you got cold drinks for 24 hours, ice for 2 days. Really? And it'll also keep your hot drinks hot for 12 hours. So it's kind of a big claim to be able to do the cold and the hot at the same time. So that's something we're gonna have to test. And we've got leak lock technology. No trademark on that though, weirdly enough. And it says this thing is engineered not to leak, drip, or spill, even with fizz. That's kind of a big deal because typically when you have a fizzy drink, it tries to pop the lock open from the inside. They're not typically designed to stop pressure from the inside coming up, so we'll see how they address that. All right, let's get this paper off and start getting to the good stuff. Now that I got all that paper off, let's take a closer look at this. Got stainless steel construction on the main canister. This covering here is made of more of like a vinyl type of material. It's not painted. So even though that label said that these are dishwasher safe, I would be a little bit wary of that because this surface here is likely going to be able to be messed up in your dishwasher. And I know that because I've gotten a lot of other cups that are similar to this with the same type of material. And over time, water will get up underneath that from the dishwasher and it'll start to bubble it up. And then at some point, it starts ripping off. If you hand wash these, that's not going to happen. You can see that the main body isn't exactly round. It's got a couple of flat spots on here, on one side and the other. That actually kind of feels good when you grab this because it gives you a better way to grip the bottle. In fact, I really like that. And looks like you got a silicone handle right here. It kind of flips around. Kind of makes it easy to carry around like this. But if you just want to drink it, you can either just leave it down and then grab the cup down here, or you could probably even put your fingers through there and hold it like this as well. In either case, it's pretty comfortable. On the lid, you have a twist-on cap right here. You untwist that, and then the entire thing can pop open. That's actually pretty interesting. Normally, these things have a cap that twists on, and then when you untwist it, just the cap flops over, and it's usually held on with something like this. This is a lot better because when you tighten this up, you're actually threading on this entire piece and securing the entire thing to the top of the lid. See, when I undo this, that's the whole lid coming off. And right in there, you got threads. You got the little bleeder part right here, but it doesn't appear to have a hole in the middle. I would imagine that it couldn't because there's no way to keep the fizz in there if any kind of air can get in, or out for that matter. So if you're opening this up to drink, this will get to a certain point, and then it sort of clicks over like that. That way, when you drink from it, that top's not gonna flop over and hit you in the face. Don't ask me how I know, but that's happened to me a few times. And just so you know, that stainless steel, that's plastic. Okay, twisting off this lid. Let's take a look at the inside here. Oh shit, they weren't kidding, that's polished pretty darn good. Here you can see the inside of the lid along with that release valve. I don't know what the deal is with that, but I'm sure we'll figure that out in our testing a little bit too. And if you're looking at the inside of the top, you can see you got a rubber seal right here also. So they're not kidding, you got a seal on this main part, and you've got a rubber seal around this as well. So that's really gonna help make sure that we don't have any leakage. If we're dealing with carbonated drinks, we really need that to be secure. So far we're looking pretty good. Okay, we got some literature in here. See what it says. We already talked about all that stuff. Something about the carbonation technology. Engineered with super polished interior to prevent nucleation points that cause bubbles to escape and make your drink go flat faster.
You serious?
The surface finish is smoother than our leading competitors, so our bottle keeps your drink carbonated for longer. And they talk about that release valve here too, that it will pop if there's too much pressure buildup in there. So I'd imagine if you take something that's heavily carbonated and you're just shaking the bottle constantly, it's gonna pop that a little bit to relieve that pressure. This nucleation thing, I'm not so sure about that. I would just imagine that if you don't have air escaping out of the bottle, then you're not going to have problems with losing your carbonation either. Okay, revolutionary drinkware solution that's designed specifically for carbonated drinks, enabling you to start fizzy and stay fizzier on the go with your favorite carbonated beverage. So for top performance with this bottle, limit the amount of shaking. Duh. Don't overfill your bottle. Alright, and be sure to secure the cap back down when you're not drinking out of it. So that's all pretty brain dead stuff right there. Let's see if there's any other nuggets of genius in this thing. Oh, this is interesting. I get a lot of crap from viewers all the time because I always say not to wash things in the dishwasher, even if they say they're dishwasher safe. It's always better to hand wash stuff. It's going to make your stuff last longer. And the pushback has always been that if the company says it's dishwasher safe, it's dishwasher safe and you're perfectly fine and you can just believe it. Right here, from Ninja themselves, they've said that the product is dishwasher safe. However, hand washing is recommended. In my opinion, Ninja should be applauded for saying that. Yes, your stuff is dishwasher safe, but if you want it to really last, hand wash it. Case closed. One thing I did notice about this is the amount of space that we have inside here. This does have double-walled stainless steel construction on it. In fact, I talked about how this works in my Ninja Sip Perfection video. Here's a quick recap of what I said, and you can always skip past it if you've already seen it. Now, the way these work is really interesting, and I do have a plastic Tervis cup right here that's clear, so I can kind of illustrate to you exactly what we're looking at on the inside. Other than the material used, the construction on this and this are going to be pretty similar. Right here in the plastic, you can see there is an outside layer. Then there is another layer on the inside. Then you have an open area in the middle that's under a vacuum. The purpose of that vacuum is to minimize the amount of heat transfer coming from the out in and from the in out. That's why if you have hot contents, it'll tend to keep it hot. And if you have cold contents, it'll tend to keep it cold, regardless of what the environment looks like on the outside. The way that happens is by three different processes. There's convection, conduction, and radiation. Convection would be heat transfer due to the movement of the fluid. And that would also include coming out the top here. That's why a cup like this with no lid on it doesn't do as good a job as a thermos. The second way you have heat transfer is from something called conduction. And conduction is heat flowing through a body. So basically it's heat flowing through material. That's where having the air in here under a vacuum really helps, because that will prevent heat transfer through the conduction, because that'll pass through the outer layers, but it will have a hard time going through the vacuum. In fact, having that vacuum layer is really good for both convection and conduction. And if this were to have a lid on it, both of those methods would be taken care of by that. The third way you have heat transfer, however, is through radiation, and that's where something like a stainless steel really comes in handy. Because with radiation, heat can transfer through that vacuum as well. So what you do to stop that is to have your inner layer made out of something like stainless steel, because that will reflect the heat.
Are you serious?
So radiated heat will hit that inner layer and it'll reflect right back into the drink, storing the heat. Pretty cool, huh? That's generally the way that all stainless steel thermoses and travel mugs like this have worked for quite a while. Okay, now with that type of construction, first you got your two different layers of stainless steel, and then you have a vacuum layer in the middle. That makes the capacity of a cup like this much less because judging by the outside of the cup, it feels like there's a lot more, but you have a lot less space because you got to account for all the space used up by the air and the 2 layers of stainless steel. In this case, that's pretty darn thin. I mean, we got a lot of space in this thing. And in fact, if I grab a Sip Perfection mug like this and open it up, you can see the vast difference in the size. On this and the lip, you can even see where this expands. This is the total thickness of this, and this just kind of swoops outward on the edges. Just to give you a basic idea, these are the same size on the exterior and about the same height, but this holds 16 ounces and this holds 24 ounces. What? And that's a lot heavier too, by the way. Anyway, I think that's gonna have an effect on the thermal properties of this. So to test this cup out, we're gonna do 2 things. First, we're gonna see how well this handles hot liquids and how long it'll keep them hot. And then we'll do the same thing with a cold fizzy drink. And then we'll do it again with a drink that's got ice in it so we can see how well it keeps that frozen. All right, the first thing we're gonna test in this is some hot coffee, and we're gonna see how well it retains the heat on this. I'm not expecting a whole lot because those walls are so thin, but if I'm wrong, it wouldn't be the first time, nor will it be the last. Okay, so we will pour in some hot coffee. I gave it about 20 ounces, and on our coffee right now, we are looking at 155-ish degrees. Close this lid. I'm seeing how well it keeps this hot. Put that on secure, making sure this is locked really well too. And now we will wait.
2,000 years later.
All right, it's been just about 6 hours. Let's get this open and check out how hot this is. We're still at right about 120 degrees, maybe 119 and a half, something like that. And for frame of reference, that's still pretty warm. So we lost about 35 degrees in that 6 hours. That's not the absolute best that I've seen out of these types of cups, but considering how thin the walls are, it's still pretty darn good. Okay, for my next test, I'm gonna fill this up about halfway with ice, and I'm gonna fill that in with cold water. Then we'll come back in about 12 hours and see how much of our ice is left over. Okay, in goes the ice. And our water. Okay, we'll put this on tight and we'll see how this goes. Hey, by the way, if this is your first time here and you want to learn some cool new recipes, get some great cooking tips and tricks and all sorts of other kitchen related things, then start now by subscribing to the channel and clicking the notification bell so you never miss a thing. All right, I've let this sit in here for 18 hours just to give it a good long time so we can see how well this ice did. See the big old ice ball at the top there? I'm gonna pour this water out really quick so we can get to the ice. Okay, when we pour the ice out of here, if I can get it out, this is how much ice I have left. So that's roughly about half of the ice that I started with. Keep in mind though, if you are taking this bottle with you and you're agitating it constantly and shaking it, well, that's going to have a negative effect on your ice because of all that friction that's happening inside the bottle is going to warm this a little. So realistically, in that case, you wouldn't have as much of this ice left, if any at all. But for my test purposes, that's pretty darn good. Okay, for our last test for the Ninja Thirsti bottle, we're gonna use my Ninja Thirsti Max right here to see how long this cup will keep the drink carbonated and cold at the same time. And I do wanna remove the ice from the equation because I don't want that watering down my drink at all. One note though, this is just a personal critique. I kind of feel like Ninja needs to come up with some better naming schemes because calling this the Ninja Thirsti and this a Ninja Thirsti is a little bit weird and confusing. So Ninja PR team, come on. You can do better than that. Anyway, let's try this out. And hopefully this will fit under here because that would be kind of weird if it didn't. And ironically, this thing fits in here just perfect. That would have been hilarious if the Ninja Thirsti bottle couldn't fit underneath the Ninja Thirsti. Okay, let's slap this lid back on top here. Oh, and just for quick reference, the temperature on the drink right now is 44.5 degrees. To be fair, Ninja doesn't advertise exactly how long they expect this to be able to stay bubbly, so it wouldn't be fair to really do a 24-hour test or anything like that. I'm hoping that this will keep this cold and bubbly for at least 6 hours. If it makes it anywhere past that, I'm gonna be pretty happy with it. especially seeing as how we're not putting any ice in here or anything to keep it cold. So we're gonna give this a little while and come back and check on it later. Okay, it's been 6 hours. I'm gonna admit that I did cheat a little bit, and I did check it at 4 hours because I figured if the temperature went up too much in 4 hours, then it would be pointless to wait for 6. But it was looking pretty good, so I let it go. So anyway, it's been 6 hours, like I said. Let's see what the differences are here. Okay, first we'll check the temperature. And according to this, we are at 52.5 degrees. So really, that's not a whole lot more considering the fact that we didn't have any ice in this or anything. Now, we're gonna pour some of this into this glass just so we can see how much carbonation we still have after all this time. Remember, if it doesn't stay really cold, you're gonna lose a lot of carbonation. So let's take a look at how this is doing here. You can see right there, looking pretty darn good. Now, I would think about running this test for longer, but honestly, I don't really know if that's something we really need to do. I mean, if you put a cold drink into a container like this, how long do you really need your fizzy drink to stay cold and fizzy? You're not gonna leave it there overnight or anything, are you? I've got to admit that before I ordered this travel mug, I really didn't see what the point was because Ninja already had their Sip Perfection mug out and I didn't understand how this was going to be any different. But after using it and trying it out, it really is advantageous if you like to carry cold drinks around. But if you typically like to bring your coffee with you instead, maybe not the best choice. If you'd like a little bit more information about the Ninja Thirsti travel mug, I do have an Amazon affiliate link for it down in the description of the video. If you buy anything through those links, I do make a small commission, but it doesn't change the price that you pay 1 cent. Hey, Joe's Phenomenal now has channel memberships. For most people, you can see a join button down below the video window that you can click and see what type of perks I'm offering. If you're using an iOS device, you might not be able to see it, and if that's the case, I do have a link down in the description of the video as well. If you like this video, then I bet you're gonna like this video right here, where I did a review for the Ninja Sip Perfection hot beverage mug. At first glance, it seems like the same stuff, but there really are some pretty discernible differences between the two. Well, that's it for now. I hope to see you back again here really soon. And until that time, I'm Joe, and I hope you have a phenomenal day. Take it easy.